Okay, so I've been waiting for this on the Bitcoin chart for a while now. There's two things I'm going to point out, and then we're going to jump into more detail and we'll take a look at Mars stock. But we finally have some stuff happening that I've been waiting for a while. And here's one of the reasons. We finally have an actual catalyst that is guaranteed, basically, in my opinion, to move the market. This isn't a random numbers report or anything. It is Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, setting the tone for September and the rest of the year, right? This is very, very important. And if I'm correct, it should be happening 30 minutes after market open, right? So we finally have a very important catalyst. And the second thing is we have bigger picture support structures using fib retracements. We're getting closer to actually filling these properly. Now, I'm going to get into more detail about this. So, everything I say is just my own personal opinion. It is what I'm doing. And everyone should always do their own due diligence and make sense of the charts themselves. But take a look at this, right? We're about to have a bigger picture, one more low, right? It's weakening. The RSI is still showing room to the downside. We're really, really close to breaking below 112K sustainably. And it will fill, it will create one more low from the previous low we had right here during this big three wave corrective move, right? And it can open up the doors very easily to fill in this value gap that happened back here that has not been filled yet. It can come into this and allow the price to break it, going into some nice, discounted levels below 110K as well. The reason it's so significant is because if you guys remember, I said if we break this primary support, right? This smaller picture primary support in yellow, which we did, and I sold the long I had. If you guys remember, I sold the longs, and I showed you guys that I did sell. I showed you guys the closing transaction because I kept saying that if we break the point 618 at 16,700, it opens the way to having that bigger picture, one more low from this low right here. So it's finally happening, right? We're getting some bigger picture structures actually making sense, actually getting ready to max out support areas. So I'm gonna get into some more detail before we jump into Mars stock, and I'm gonna show you guys um, what I plan on doing depending on what happens, right? So tomorrow, right? It's a big question on whether or not we're gonna get, a dovish or hawkish tone. We have no idea. But what we do know is that, at least on my charts, we have plenty of room to go lower. Now, I will say this though, regardless of what happens tomorrow, if the price pumps, let's just say the price stays flat up to that meeting or speech announcement. Let's just say it stays flat. If we go up, right? Here's the thing. Here's the thing though. There's a good chance that this retracement, because retracement don't always have to fill, they can act as very early resistance. Like we can find resistance before breaking into this. But here's the thing, right? The price has been decreasing so aggressively that the RSI is now well below the retracement area for resistance. Any pump can be potentially short lived, and we can come down further and actually continue to maximize this area if we don't do it, sooner rather than waiting for a little bit of a pump, which would be another fake out. If you guys remember too, like back here, if you guys were paying attention to this price action right here, right, it looked like the price potentially had a bottom because we broke up from this smaller resistance. Yeah, we had some weakness, but eventually we broke up over it and we continue to make smaller picture, higher highs and higher lows. But here's the thing, as we continue to go up higher, I mean, if you guys were looking at the volume wasn't anything significant. It wasn't showing any bullishness. Um, there was no reason to like be overly optimistic on it, especially below the 120 moving average. As you can see, many times it tried to pump, it didn't. Very soon though, we could have a pump and we can try to approach this resistance area. But the thing is that rather we do reach this area or we don't, it's very likely, if we don't, but I mean by like we go up but we fail to reach this area, it will just, in my opinion, be a very good short opportunity, and that's how I plan to approach it. Any pump that is not backed by just pure dovishness, um, tomorrow's meeting, if there's a pump and it's not backed up by like, pure, as close as possible being guaranteed that the Fed is like seriously just looking to get it cut and get it out the way. If there's a pump that's not backed up by that, I'm just shorting. I'm looking to short. The moment the RSI maxes out to the upside, especially if we start hitting this 120 moving average, I don't know if you guys can see it too well, but the moment we hit it or even break slightly over it and we start seeing the RSI max out, I'm looking to potentially start opening some small longs, because it would, in my opinion, it would just be a corrective rally before the price comes down lower. Because again, we still have, we hit it. We hit this overlapping extension support area down here. We're failing to go below 112K. We're failing to, at least at the moment, we're failing to fill in this value gap that has not been filled. We filled the other two, but not the third one. It's very, very possible that this can happen. Also, it's super simple structure, like breakdown. We've seen this happen plenty of times in the big picture as well, where we see, the price try to break the previous bigger picture swing low. And in order for it to be, more confident, we want to see it maximize the area more, right? So we're still above the 0.5 at 111.4K within this one, but the idea is high probable that we can break the 0.5 on the previous structure below 110.8K, try to fill in this value gap, and then max out this red area. And we can see fluctuations within it. We can see a rally that breaks this swing high right here, goes up higher. It doesn't matter. It all really depends at the end of the day as well what the Fed says tomorrow. And my guess is really just going to be super vague, like they always say, waiting for more information, whatever. There's just no reason to like overthink it, right? Is if there's no fundamental reasons coming out of the meeting tomorrow to be overly optimistic, then the idea is that we can continue to see lower prices to fill these areas I just mentioned a moment ago. And if there is any pump, I'm paying attention on the R. I'm paying close attention to the RSI on the 1 hour candles, and the 120 moving average, because it's simple. Any price higher, especially if it goes up into this blue area, in my opinion, it will be a shorting opportunity. It will be an early opportunity to collect shorts. Um, I'm gonna make it super simple as well. Like I plan my SLs are gonna be simple. The top of this range, if we break over 119.8K, cool. There's a strong indication that the low is in, because a strong rally will make it more probable that we can hold any support area that we follow the price higher with a simple retracement. But unless that happens, again, I'm looking to short, because we still have some more room to come down before we find a potential bottom to go up to 128K. But here's the other thing too, before we jump into Mars stock. If we come down below the 0.5 and we go into this value gap, then quite simply, it will be so deep that, let's just say we follow the price lower with this retracement. If instead we don't go up to this area and we go down before, the idea is that we can be just on a bigger picture 3-wave corrective move that can go into what deep value is. And then, we can have other catalysts. Like I know there was a lot of that Ukraine Russia headlines coming out recently, making some like positive moves towards that. That can be a catalyst in the future if we get more information on that. And then we also have potentially a pending rate cut. So we can have a bigger picture 3-wave move just like we've had here, but within this move down. And it's quite simple as well, actually. If let's just say the price bottoms out right here and it goes up and finds resistance around 118,000, then we're just looking for a more aggressive dip from here. And on top of that too, it would just back up the idea that this overshooting B wave, we have this strong support area right here. This will be, as long as things stay reasonable and solid, we hold this area. But if there's any potential of the price going up and having a little bit of a bigger picture three wave move down, simple, we're looking at deep value at that point, and then we'll go on from there. But I've been waiting for this. We finally have some like serious announcements happening that are, they're gonna move the market in one way or another. So that's how I'm preparing. If we do go up in this area and I'm holding on to some shorts, I'm gonna follow it. Like, let's just say we bottom out here and we go up higher, and then the price goes up. It goes up, and let's just say I buy some shorts here and we come down. I'm looking to start shaving shorts within a simple retracement, because if this holds and we make a new high, it's highly possible that that can start influencing bullish momentum. It's as simple as that, right? But if I shave some shorts here, lock in profit, the price goes down lower and it breaks the current swing low, then the idea is that I'm just looking for a move down. Ideally, this is at the end of the day what I want to happen. And then from there, I'm looking at lightly accumulating longs with the idea of the prices having a simple retracement higher. And then from there, shaving within the blue once again, just to prepare for a potential downward move, because we're still within a downtrend. So any potential support and move higher should, we shouldn't be overly optimistic and say the price is going to go much higher. It's simple, shave within a simple retracement, simple resistance. And if we go down lower, or at least at that point, also start opening shorts in case we go down lower. Excuse me, with the top of the range being an SL, right? And then TPs is any retracement below it. Unless the price just tanks super fast, then TP will be, further within the support area down here. But regardless of everything I just said, ideally, most realistically, I'm looking for short-lived pumps just to continue this downtrend lower and actually go down deeper, below 112, below 111K, where we can find potentially a more significant support, and then we'll go up into the overall retracement. But within these pumps, I'm looking to short because the move is down. The move is down, and we have a lot of bearishness in the media right now, right? So it's as simple as that, right? And now, when it comes to Mara stock, right? We're actually, so if you guys remember what I said in yesterday's video, it this can be an early indication that we're seeing a downtrend form within Mara. Potentially there could be a pump in Bitcoin. There just could be a pump in the overall market, because we know the overall market has been decreasing lately, pumping the VIX. But any potential pump in the market due to either the value in the short term being too low, and then whatever Jerome Powell says is just a reaction to the upside before it comes down lower. We can see that reflect in Mara. So it'll be as simple as the price going up back into the sideways channel resistance. And then at that point, the moment we go into this sideways channel resistance, as long as there's no fundamental like rate cut, actual like realistic optimism, then it will be a good idea to like buy some puts, in my opinion. Buy some puts on Mara, look to short Mara, back down into the channel support down here, right? So it's as simple as that. It's very likely we can break the 0.5 at 1568. If there's a bullish reaction due to short-term deep value in the overall market, it will just influence Mara more than Bitcoin will influence Mara. But the idea is that we're looking now for some lower prices in Mara. Realistically, just looking at the overall market, although we're holding this quite well, but instead of hoping for so many different setups, it's simple, right? I do believe that if we go up into, because I said this yesterday in previous videos, this sideways channel is very, very similar to the one we saw in 2024 that lasted multiple months. And as we get further within that time period, it starts to widen more as well. So any push higher over the 120 moving average, hitting this sideways channel short-term resistance, in my opinion, it will be a good idea to start shorting, and then TP would just be, it's simple. It's hitting conservative supports within the channel. So TP will be starting at like what is basically 1540, anything under that, because it's likely that this this channel could continue to go either way. But even if tomorrow's meeting is not very dovish and it does create a lot of fear, it's possible we can extend and widen the channel more to the downside. So there is a high probability, if we just see some negative momentum, any early pump or any price higher than this previous swing high could open up a really good puts contract, like a buying opportunity, right? So that's how I'm looking at it for right now. There's no reason, just like in Bitcoin, there's no reason to look at holding higher prices when the downtrend is there and we have all this negative news in the media. So until we can go up higher, we just have to get past all that and get a rate cut and potentially see that war, negotiation actual ending happen. So until we go up higher, realistically, if there's fear in the market and the trend is there, volume is there, let's just focus on potentially profiting off of shorting Mara and Bitcoin, whatever else you guys want to do. It's all up to you, but that's just how I view this. This is how I'm looking at it. So please, again, do your own due diligence. But again, any so it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing for both of them. Any price strength in Bitcoin can provide a very good short opportunity because we still have some more room to go down. This is creating, in my opinion, this is creating some super clear trade opportunities. We're finally getting like a big catalyst happening. I feel like we've been kind of like relying on articles all the time, but now we can actually get like a more official, more significant one happening. So any price higher could be a shorting opportunity again, just because I want to see this area fill more. I want to see this value gap filled more. I want to see the price below 110K. I believe it's very likely, regardless of any pump we see before that, shorting opportunity, and it will allow a much healthier, bigger picture 3-wave correction where we see this one getting this broken and going a little bit lower, just like in Mara stock. Any short-term price strength in Mara can easily provide a shorting opportunity. That's how I'm viewing it. And when it comes to Bitcoin, let's just say we do bottom when we go higher. It's as simple as that. Like I said, any pump higher, especially within the blue, I'm just gonna follow it. Let's just say it pumps now. I'm gonna follow it, just like I said earlier. It goes as high as it wants to go. I am going to follow it with a simple fib retracement. And what I'm looking for is any potential shift in volume, any order books changing across the board, level 2 Nasdaq quotes, even for for the overall market that can influence Bitcoin as well, and then order books on like major exchanges as well. If we but I'm not really going to pay attention to that too much. It's simple. I'm looking for potential support here and a push higher, breaking whatever swing high it creates as an indication that, hey, there's some bullish momentum building. And again, that's probably going to be mostly due to whatever is announced tomorrow, the tone that's set, right? But until we have, like, unless he says, oh, yeah, something super positive that like assures everyone that, like, oh smack, like a September rate cut is more than 90% likely. Well, if that doesn't happen, then again, any price action higher, especially maxing out the RSI, I'm looking at shorts, guys. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.